Hey everybody, welcome back. This is week 2, episode 2 of the Enneagram Entrepreneur Interviews. I am so excited to be here today. We have an amazing guest. Her name is Colleen Herman. Colleen's from Cincinnati, Ohio, and she leads with the Enneagram Type 7. So if you remember, the 7 is the enthusiast or the epicure. Their motivation is to find satisfaction in everything in life. And I'm so excited to have her today. And while I wait for her to join, let's see. Hey, Anne. Hey, Emily. Nice to see you both. Thanks for joining. And I see Colleen just jumped on and is getting ready to join us. Let's see here.
Hi,
Hello.
good morning. It's
Good
great to
morning.
see you.
So good to see you. Do you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. How about me?
I can
Everything okay?
see and hear you perfectly. Good morning.
Wonderful. Good
Hi.
to see you.
Thanks. This is so fun. I was so excited this morning. I can't even tell you. So thank you for having me.
Oh, you bet. You bet. We've already got some awesome folks on watching today. We've got, remember, Ann Lafferty, and then, of course, your best bud, Emily, and
Of
there's
course.
Wise.
Hi, ladies. Hi, everybody. Girl power.
That's right. We've got a lot to talk about today. So are you at home today?
I am at home. I am so excited. I stacked my day so well. I'm meeting with Bree right after this, who's my partner. So I've got a good day. Mondays are my day off anyway, but I was so excited we did this on a holiday and a good one. Just really excited about that. So yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you. Thanks for giving me some of your time. I appreciate it. So let's just first start with introducing yourself. Tell me about who you are. Now, I know a little bit, but most folks watching won't. So tell me about who you are, your type, where you're from, your business, all the things. Go ahead.
Sure. So my name's Colleen Herman, born and raised in good old Cincinnati, Ohio. So proud of that. A little bit about me. Early on in my career, I was really interested in production and studied wig and makeup design for the theater. So I was so lucky to network with my 7 self on the Enneagram. And I scored a gig with Cirque du Soleil for about 6
So cool.
years. Yeah. I traveled internationally doing the costumes, the wigs, teaching the artists their makeup, and got to live in Asia, Russia, and Spain. Lived in New York for over a year and traveled all around. And deep within me, I always knew that I would come home to Cincinnati. It wasn't like maybe if, I knew I would. And I got to come home and partner with my mother on our current business, which is a wellness salon and spa in Columbia, Tusculum, which I'm so proud of. And just so that's work, but I'm very much a 7. I think earlier in my life, I leaned more towards a 6 wing. And then since I've been invited on this, I've been doing more research on the Enneagram. And I think I've transitioned to lean more on my 8 wing lately. But I think both of them show up, which is very common, I think. So I'm both, and I'm learning a lot, and it's just fun. And I want to talk all about it. So
That's awesome. Okay, so let me just first start by saying I'm so thrilled about this. I love that you lead with type 7 and that you spent, was it 7 years doing wigs, makeup, and costume for Cirque?
it was like from 22 to 28, but I
mean
had downtime. So
2012 to 2018?
is that what I meant? 20 age 22 to age 28.
Oh, ages. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
yes,
Got
yes,
it. Got
yes.
it. Okay.
So about 6 years, basically.
6 years. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. So let's talk about that for a minute. Okay. How did you even discover the opportunity?
Of that career.
Yes. Yes.
So truth be told, as a very ADD 7, I did not want to go to college because I was so interested in transformation. I grew up in the hair salon. I loved makeup and hair and all the things, and I was an actress and singer and blah 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 in high school. I just told my mom I really don't want to go to college. I know I can make it, and honestly, I think that's advice that's okay if somebody has a path. I think trades are awesome. I'm all about them. But my mother, who had never gone to university or college, said, I just want you to explore. So in my exploration, I found that College Conservatory of Music here at UC it had an amazing program for that. And through me going through that program, I just learned to network. And when I was a junior in college, a group of my girlfriends took a wild girls trip to Vegas. And that whole time I focused on networking with Cirque du Soleil people. And that led to my getting hired right after college, right after cosmetology school. Shout out to Elizabeth Gallagher, who also lives in Cincinnati, who basically got me in the door at Cirque du Soleil. She was 10 years older than me, and she was just like, you could do this. Let me lead the way and help you. So she was
Oh my gosh.
for me. Yeah.
So that just speaks a lot to the idea of reframing, which is, it's the seven's number one defense mechanism, but it's also a strength of the seven, right? Because with the Enneagram, our greatest strengths are also our greatest challenges, right?
For sure.
The way that you looked at this, and I love how you articulated this, was college wasn't really what was for me, but I knew based on my surroundings what I wanted. And I figured out the way that would work best for me. And it delivered on that. It delivered on that opportunity. I love that. And the fact that not only were you going and having fun, but you had a very business entrepreneurial oriented mind where you said, I'm going to create my future and take every opportunity while I'm out in the world to really discover what possibilities might be available to me.
100%. And I was literally terrified. My first job with Cirque was in Asia, and every part of my sixth wing that wanted security did not want that. And it helped me grow, because I'm so glad I did it. It was the biggest risk of my life, and it propelled me forward in so many ways.
That's wonderful. So before we move on from this particular stage of your life, tell me what your favorite place that you lived during your Cirque career was and why.
Sure. So people ask me that all the time, so I've got this answer rehearsed. I always say my favorite place I want to go is somewhere I haven't been, but just in that part of my life, I think Madrid was so amazing, because our lifestyle was set up for nighttime living, and we got off of work at 10 o'clock p.m., give or take a half an hour, and we could completely like have a nice meal, go to the market, we could shop at that time of the day. And it was just like, I got to live so richly. Plus the culture there is amazing. And I want to be more relaxed and go with the flow, but that's not my truest nature. And I learned that like that lifestyle, even though their economy might not be thriving, they take things with stride and they just relax. They're really relaxed people. So I loved it.
Great answer. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And I think just one call out is with the type 7, typically they are, well, of course, they're part of the aggressive stance group, which is, 7, 8, and 3. We're constantly doing, right? It's hard for us to sit still.
Yeah.
So with the 7s, they're in their head, but their head transitions into the body faster than into that emotion space. 7s tend to separate the emotional space, especially when it's uncomfortable, to ensure that they keep doing and keep maintaining that semblance of satisfaction or goodness in life.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when 7s haven't done the work, the biggest work of the 7 is to tap into that heart space and reconnect with their emotions, especially the ones that make them feel uncomfortable, or they're the undesirable emotions like fear, anger, sadness, pain, all of those things, to kind of reconnect with those. That is the work of the 7, to really flourish and be able to slow down and stop doing and thinking so much and really start feeling more. And I can say that as an 8 because the 8s just completely deny they have emotions. So we both have some similar heart space work there, right? But
100%. And I will say, because I'm so interested in energy work myself, that my biggest work has to learn that hard or negative or what we perceive as undesirable emotions aren't going to kill me. And the more we integrate and process them, the better off we are, and the more effective we can be at serving our mission and what we're here to do. So that's
from the mouth of a 7, y'all.
Yes. Well, it's been a challenge. I'm 36 years old, and I started that work pretty young because, like all of us, I had some undesirable patterns that I got to unlearn,
Yep. I do. Yeah. And we're always in the process of learning and unlearning. That's a becoming thing. And I just love that. Thank you. All right. So now let's move into the business that you currently own and run, CoCo Creative Wellness, with your mom.
Yes.
And the first thing I want to ask you is, what is the core mission of your business and your work today with this business?
So I think that's transferred over the last 8 years, but I would say where we are right now is we're a collaborative of beauty professionals, or, we've dealt with massage therapists and healers as well, that actually rent space in our collaborative, CoCo Creative, to run their own businesses. We started more as an employee-driven business 8 years ago, but as the trend moved toward people being their own boss across every industry, we moved into more a collaborative space. My mother has been a salon owner for a long time. I don't want to do the math real quick, but she's been in the industry for 48 years and she's got a lot of experience. So we're very yin and yang at the way that we approach things. She's also a 1, which I've learned lately that 1s and 7s learn from each other a lot. So, and I know she's a 1, I'm not typing her, but we did a Enneagram workshop as a salon when we first opened. So that was really awesome.
It's powerful.
Very cool. Yes. So, just our mission is whole self wellness through beauty. We do hair, skin, nails. We have spray tanning. We do a lot of bridal parties and event hair and makeup. And most of us are hairstylists, but we have nails, skin, tanning, makeup as well.
That's awesome. And I do know you also offer some workshops, or some, not just workshops, but gatherings in the evening.
Yes.
So I think you've got some featured guests that come in and will do Botox or skincare offerings and so forth.
Yes. And we want to have you for Enneagram. I know that we would get a really interested,
I would love that.
Because I attract the type of clients that I am. So many of my clients would jump on board for a conversation like we're having tonight at the salon.
Oh, that's fun. All right.
Yeah.
So now, with that being said, okay, the one thing I want to call out real quick that I love that you just shared was the dynamic between you and your mom, and looking at that from the point of view of the types that you both lead with. So you as a 7, your mom as a 1, the 1's support number is the 7. So that means that when the 1's really in flow and really moving out of that shadow space, they tend to pull in and attract the strengths from the type 7 and really start to move away from that inner critic and into that worthiness and self-love, and the ability to do things for the goodness and enjoyment of doing them, and not just because they need to be done to be good or correct. So I really love that you can bring out a lot of the brightness of your mom with that energy. Alternatively, the 1 is the stress number for the 7, which it's kind of a misnomer because people often think of the stress number as a negative. While it can be a challenge, because you can move into the shadow space of that stress number when you're in stressful situations, it can also be magnificent when you move into the strengths of that number during stressful situations.
Yes.
So tapping into the inner person that needs organization, needs to work on correcting their surroundings to really get order in place, to really find that way to help and own something to make it more organized, less chaotic. 1's are really, really good at that. So when the 7s slow down and they move into that space of trying to organize and making their surroundings more pleasant, more correct for others, it can be a powerful, powerful strength. And actually, our good friend Rachel DeRochers, she's also a 7. And I see her often moving into that 1 in stress when she does things like tending to her space. And she does a beautiful job of organizing and tending to her space and curating it in a way that creates this lack of chaos, this presence of peacefulness and order that really is complementary of the surroundings she needs to be able to, move into goodness in her type. So I love that you both complement each other like that. And I think that's also a testament to probably the success of your business for this long. Really fantastic call out to share that.
And commitment to each other. I always say, I don't know if we would have made it if we weren't family. You know what I mean? So there's so much power in that.
100%. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. So how long have you been working with the Enneagram, and how did you hear or learn about it?
Yeah. So, as I said, we did a work. I don't think I ever knew about it. And we started our salon with a massage therapist, and shaman and meditation teacher. She has a long list of what she does, but her name is Tisa McGraw. She's in Cincinnati, and she started our salon. And just to better understand each other, she offered us at work a little workshop where we all got to type ourselves. And so that was in 2013.
So great.
And I'll be honest with you, like, I've always known what it was since then, but because there's so many modalities of self-exploration, I haven't delved deep into it since I knew that you did it. And then I am a full-blown in stress. I really like counseling. And so at times of counseling, my last counselor that I've used for my, just self-growth, she's a big Enneagram person as well. So she'll bring it up as well. So I've learned through you, I've learned through Tisa. Of course, on the internet, there's a lot of information.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's how. So
That's
I'd say 8 years I've known about the Enneagram.
That's great. That's great. And I wanted to highlight that therapists use the Enneagram. This tool is so powerful and so useful, and it's not something that is like this mystical thing. No, this is a tool that's used by professionals. This is a tool used in corporations. It's used in psychotherapy. It's used across the board. So I really love that you've highlighted that your therapist also works with you on it. So that's great. Yes.
Her name is Nan Fox. I'll give her a little shout out. I love her. She's in town. She's awesome. And with telehealth, hello. It's so nice.
That's right. And along those lines, let's also highlight therapy is a great thing. Therapy is a great thing when you're in a good headspace or when you're in a not good headspace. It's just something that more people should have access to it. And I'm hoping that with time, there will be, people will be able to access it better. But just know that therapy is a great outlet to really continue to live a healthy mentally healthy lifestyle. It does serve you. And yes, Emily says, yes, I love therapy.
So it's so true.
Yes.
I always say my best ideas come out in that hour because it's just the time dedicated to explore, honestly. So
I love it.
Love it. Yeah.
That's great. All right. So let's talk about, there's a little gap between shifting from the Cirque du Soleil career to the CoCo creative wellness career.
Yep.
Describe to me the journey in that gap that you took to becoming an entrepreneur. What did that look like?
I love that. So as I told you, it was really scary for me to go ahead and move across the world and do all the things. But I will say the regularity of my job with Cirque, which was also not my favorite part of it, got me into a lot of self-exploration. And because some of my big patterns came out, I mean, I was 23, 24, 25. If you're into astrology, that's around the time of Saturn return, where you're like, what the hell is going on with my life? What am I doing? I just had a lot of time.
Also, scientifically, it's when your frontal lobe is starting to develop.
See,
all of the above.
It's all connected. It's all connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, So I just had a lot of time, like, what is next? And when I knew for sure I was getting close to the point of being done with Cirque, I just did a lot of self-inquiry and got into energy work big time to help me uncover like what I was here to do. And I took some amazing retreats by myself. The cool thing about Cirque was that it wasn't a lot of downtime, but when you did have downtime, like the world was your oyster, literally, because you had the flexibility and the resources. I mean, I'm so grateful for that. So I just decided I was really into wellness. Like, what did that mean? What did that look like? And I also know I'm a super duper creative. So there's this book that I love called Steal Like an Artist. And I was like, I can combine my love for like beauty and fashion and helping people feel their best and also wellness. And then I had the background of my mom being a businesswoman. So it was just the combination of all those things. And I decided what I wanted to do. I was scared out of my mind, of course. I mean, big risk. 28 is when I
that's very young.
I guess. I mean, there's people doing things at all ages, and I was ready for it. So
that's great. And so, okay, so what did you find was the biggest challenge when you launched? What was the thing that was like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this, but you
Right.
got through it?
Oh my gosh. The biggest one is I love the idea of mentorship, but I would say the weight of responsibility when you have employees on their livelihood in some way, even though I know at the crux of it, it's never your job to like be somebody else's savior. I think for me, being a super empath, I didn't like the idea of being responsible for other people. It's still a big reason why I was so happy that the trend moved towards people doing their own thing most of the time. Yeah. So,
Well, and I think that also speaks very much, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great truth, right? That's great truth and self-awareness to understand what makes you tick and what doesn't. I think that also speaks a lot to the type 7 motivation, right? And the idea of that uncomfortable space of having to carry others along on a journey when they may be having difficult situations, and you're kind of in charge of that well-being within your business. Certain Enneagram types, 8s can relate. That's difficult for us because, again, I go back to the work for us is that heart space, right? We are doers and movers and shakers, and we are constantly detaching from that emotional space. So to have to actually mentor and emotionally connect with folks that work for you in a business when you're these types can be a challenge. And it's great. It's the great work for us, but it's also the great development of self-awareness to know where our strengths lie and where maybe we need to rely on others that carry those strengths and or other systems that work better for our businesses. Just
right.
like you said, transitioning into more of that space of multiple entrepreneurs, being able to have the ownership of their own within your company. It's all about being able to flex and bend and work with the strengths that you have and understanding the areas that either you need additional help on or you need a different solution for.
Right. And then just the play on as well, my 7, everything you just said makes so much sense. But my 7 nature is not the mundane day to day. And running a business is a lot of mundane day to day. And that's why I'm so grateful for the difference between my mother and I, because she always let me go out and create new business and meet new people and do all the things, which I loved. I always loved networking within our business because it just stoked my little newness cravings. But yeah, like the day in, day out, even I struggle with that, just being behind the chair as a stylist, even though I love all the conversations and the people that come in.
Sure.
It's just a lot of the same,
Right. Well, and I think you mentioned earlier, and I mean this sincerely, but you had mentioned earlier, there's a level of ADD. You said you're an adult with ADD.
Yeah.
So even having that repeated regularity just from that standpoint can probably, also challenge you in that sense.
Right. I do want to call out though, this year, COVID year, one of my biggest learnings, because I'm a lover of learning, is ADD as an entrepreneur can be an absolute asset. And so I don't rely on that. Like, I'm so ADD. I'm like, I wear it almost like, oh, that's why I do the way that I do. And it works sometimes. And here's how I can support myself. Don't drink too much caffeine. Chill out. Meditate.
I love that. I'm writing it down. Hang on.
Yeah. Dr. Daniel Amen is my biggest teacher for that. So
that's so great. So we have a question from Megan who asked you, what kind of energy work did you do?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I am under the mindset, of course, this is my opinion, but like if energy work is a huge umbrella, everything is underneath that, whether it's Reiki or yoga or meditation or Thai energy, there's a zillion different types, but I was introduced to energy work through Reiki. Amazing story. There was a Tony Award recipient dancer in New York City who was my Reiki teacher. And so I went through 2 levels of Reiki energy healing with him as a practitioner. And I haven't done that like as a actual service in a long time. But I feel like once you're attuned to that energy, you know that the vibration that you support within yourself helps others also raise their vibration. I fully trust and know, because hello, quantum physics, like we are literally made of so much space, and how we relate, you have to remind yourself. But the brands of energy work, I'm a Kundalini yoga, studied yoga practitioner and teacher. I studied Reiki energy healing. I receive craniosacral therapy on a regular basis. I receive Thai yoga massage from a healer who knows all of the deal. But, and then, oh my gosh, my favorite of all time is her business is Energetic Answers, and her name is Ann Steffen. She's in town, and I don't know what she calls hers, but she's a incredible intuitive and uses your spirit guides to help lead you on your path. So I'm a big junkie for just keeping my vibe even Stevens through energy work. And I don't even think you have to believe it to receive it, honestly. So go try it out. It's amazing.
I think that, to me, and I want to go back to one thing in a second, but to me, the key to belief in the energy work succeeding is that you are worthy. You have to believe you are worthy.
Yes.
And no matter what religion you are, they all teach you that you were born a child of God and that you are worthy.
Yep.
And so I think that if we can all find that belief, the direction of energy work, whether you want to keep it specific or you want to be open to it, or you believe it or you don't believe it, that's how you will receive it.
Yep.
So real quick, will you define Reiki for anybody watching that doesn't know what that is?
Yeah, Reiki is an ancient method. It, oh gosh, who was the creator of it? A Japanese, not creator, but somebody that channeled it. Basically, it's using your hands as healing energy for yourself or for others. You can also do it distance. You don't need to touch the physical form because our aura and our energetic space goes out very far. So it's the laying on of hands like in or around your body to create balance within your energy system. So if you don't know the term chakras, we have lots of energy systems throughout our body. And the more that they're open and moving and flowing, the more peace and ease we can have in our life, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all the ways. And it's just about just a good cleanup of your space. Physical, emotional, spiritual, energetic. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that. All right. So let's talk about your core motivation with the type 7, which of course is the desire for satisfaction in all things related to life. So how do you see your core motivation coming into play with your current business, the strengths and the challenges? And if you have specific stories or examples, I'd love to hear that.
Well, I've got some exciting developments in my business, but I will just say, so specifically, you're saying, how does the motivation of say the question one more time.
Sure.
Okay.
So type 7 motivation really is for satisfaction, right?
Yes.
They're the enthusiast or the epicure. So they're very enthusiastic. They want the goodness. That's what they desire in life. And they really focus on trying to only channel that. And so that can be a double-edged sword, right? And so with the strengths and the challenges of your motivation, where do you see that come into play with your business?
Yes.
And if you have any specific stories, that would be awesome.
Oh, okay. So now it's much clearer. I love people. I love meeting people. I like hearing people's stories. It inspires me on maybe things that I want to do and try. And so I've always said this, I think I am a talented hairstylist and makeup artist.
You are.
But I think, thank you. Yeah. But I think for me, it's more about interacting with people and literally feeding off of the energy. I've learned absolutely that their stuff is their stuff and my stuff is my stuff, but to maybe help each other on the path of just like helping each other realize things, or just having the heart-to-heart conversations that happen in the salon chair. I can speak for other hairstylists and know this is a relationship business. So I'm motivated by feel good. And this business is feel good. In an hour's time, I can help people feel really good. And that makes me feel good, of course. So, and then the challenge of it is as well, I would say every year within my business, I fully was so excited to jump ship and do something else entirely, because I think I could be very successful at 10 jobs, not just one. And so having one business and committing to it is exhausting as a 7, honestly.
You know, and I just applaud you because you did that twice. You did that with Cirque for numerous years, and you've done it with CoCo Creative Wellness. And I will tell you, as an 8, there hasn't been a job since college that I've been at more than 3 years. And I've been out of college for a very long time.
Right.
So, I definitely have I have strong 7 and 9 wings that have come into play, but that definitely leans into my 7 wing, and also my childhood background of moving every 2 to 3 years and having to readapt. So I can really empathize with your need for change and movement, because
Right.
you've been conditioned, to really expect that with your thirst for life and for excitement.
Exactly. And I do daydream about it. For me, it's not even like, I don't even think of it as like work, but like, how can I serve next? Like, what's my purpose that has nothing to do with what I'm doing currently? And that's my 7, just being like, I need a new project. I need a new thing. So of course I can stay committed as well, because that's important. Consistency is important.
Well, and it speaks to your development, your personal development and self-awareness, and being able to commit and close the loop, so I applaud you for that.
Yay, thanks.
So we've kind of touched on this already, but if there's anything else you want to say on this, I'll reiterate this question. How has the understanding of the Enneagram as a whole helped you in business and relationships?
Oh yeah. So I will say very, very recently, I just, especially because of you, Whitney, and just like being in touch with you, I think in relationships, it makes you more compassionate of other people. Like this morning, I was watching a bunch of videos. My boyfriend and partner were sending them back and forth, because I was like, I'm going to be on this conversation. And he just started learning about the Enneagram really recently. So like, let's talk about a primary relationship. Your motivations are different. What's it called?
Right.
I was learning about today, like, I think I'm a self-pres 7,
Okay. Yeah. Your subtype.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I was just learning about that. But like within work relationships, it makes you not get rigid with people. It makes you try to understand their perspective. It definitely makes my mind slow down about trying to figure out somebody's why would they be like that? Because I think we can all very quickly, easily judge other people. So I think the biggest thing for me about understanding the Enneagram is knowing that there's not just 9 types, there's 18 specific types. And if you understand that their motivations, their core,
or 27, actually 20, there's 3 subtypes. It's 27. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
It's cool.
It's that whole next level.
Cool. Yes. So I just like that this way of understanding others a lot. Because I think that's an easy question to answer. It helps us understand ourselves and each other better. But I will say, I'm always absolutely, I don't like, for me, conversations that surround like, well, you're this way because you're that type. Because we're all learning and we're growing. It's just one way to like connect and understand and be like, that makes sense.
Right.
Because my mom says 1, and Emily Humbert, who's on here, is a 1. I think they've both typed themselves that way.
Yep.
They're very different. So it's not like it's a one size fits all kind of system at all.
No, you're right. And, so 2 things stuck out to me that you said. One is, it's not an excuse to be a jerk, right?
No.
It's an excuse. It's a reason to understand, develop self-awareness, return to who you were before you built up all of these layers to protect that child that the world got to, right?
Yeah.
And so the other thing that you said, that this is what was so profound for me when I first started learning the Enneagram, is people don't think the same way you do, right? So like for me, I process information in a very particular way. I'm direct. I don't beat around the bush. I hate small talk. I really can't stand when people go into long stories that just what do you want to tell me, right? And so when in the workspace, when somebody thinks differently than I did and I was direct with them, I wasn't even being personal, but it would hurt their feelings. And I was like, well, what is their problem? Like, this has nothing to do with them. It's just something that needs to get done. Okay.
Yeah.
That's because they don't think like I do.
Yeah.
And so once I realized that, that's when I developed self-awareness and empathy. And like, okay, well, I must have really hurt that person's feelings. And while it was unintentional, the action hurt their feelings, and the feelings are hurt. So that's a fact.
Right.
So, it really helped teach me how to manage my behavior in a way that brought more peace to my life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Because I'm projecting more love onto others.
Amen, sister. Is that not the goal here?
Yeah.
And I mean, when you were just saying all of those things, it's like it helps you get over yourself a little bit because
Right.
we're all learning.
Yes,
But when
we are.
I know I have a strong 8 wing, at least now, because I've heard that as well, where I'm like, I'm just saying what is, and people are like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, well, that's true for them, but I still love you.
Yes. And also that goes back to our detachment from our heart space, right? We've got to rein it in. We got to get in touch with those emotions. We have to. That we are made of 3 centers: the head, the body, and the heart.
Yeah.
And our centers, our primary centers are these guys, and we got to work on this guy.
So I'm a quick learner, and I just want you to tell me what types are heart, what are head, and what else is there? Heart,
the
head,
body, or the gut.
Oh, am I the
okay?
What am I?
You are the head. But 7s are notorious doers. So their secondary space is the body. It's just that you think when you're responding to stimuli, your head is what processes first. Okay. Secondarily is your body.
Okay.
Okay. So 7s intentionally separate difficult emotions and substitute them with positivity.
Yeah.
To avoid that. That is a thought-oriented behavior.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
That's the difference. 8s are body or gut. Their first immediate response to stimuli comes from the body or from their gut instinct, the impulse. They're going to do before they think. Shoot first, apologize later. Our motto, right? Not a great motto 50% of the time. Yeah. Anyway, so having said that, the heart, center of intelligence, is the 2, which is the helper, the 3, which is the achiever, or the 4, which is the romantic. And they go by all these different names, spitballing that. Okay, so the head center of intelligence is the 5, the observer, the 6, the loyalist or the questioner, and the 7, the enthusiast or the epicure. And then for the body, it is the 8, the boss or the challenger, the 9, the peacemaker, mediator, or the 1, and the 1, the perfectionist or the reformer.
Gotcha.
So
good.
Yes. And so each type has a different secondary space. Yeah. The 7s happens to be the body. They're the doers. So anyway, that's just a little background about the centers of intelligence.
It's so interesting. And I think for sure I'm here. Of course, I know, of course I am here, but it's so funny. I'm so close to my sister. I don't think she's ever typed herself, but Whitney, I think she's an 8 like you. So I want her
to
get
type though. Be careful about that.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't say that to her. I'm just saying, I'm like, this sounds very familiar. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that, a lot of, and let's talk about that for a minute, because it's really, Enneagram's about motivation, right? So motivation is learned behavior that develops during childhood, right? Yeah. And sometimes later on, but typically it's like 21 and under, and really especially between the ages of 8 and 13, unless you've had extremely difficult circumstances prior to the age of 8, which is very possible for a lot of people. So, I want to be inclusive of this. But all of that to say, we have different chapters of life where we behave differently. So that behavior could present as different types, but your motivation and your primary defense mechanism remain consistent throughout your life. It's just about how you personally grow and develop your self-awareness, understanding that part of yourself. Right. And that's why we can't type people. And that's why I really don't like tests, is because it's all about that motivation, and you've really got to do that internal work to understand why you do what you do and where that came from. Right. And this is a tool, right? This is, to your point, you said this earlier, this is a tool. This is not a be all end all. This is a way to help you get back to recognizing your self-worth that you were born with, your birthright of love and worth, and your ability to live from a place of that with yourself and with others.
Love it.
Great questions.
We'd all be so much better off if we could just hit that on the head.
I know. And there's so many tools to do that. And this is just my favorite one. And I just can't push it enough on people.
Right. I love it.
All right. So can you share one specific thing about CoCo Creative Wellness that you want people to know? It can be a special offer. It can be a fun fact. It can be an upcoming new product. Anything that you'd like to share
Sure.
with our audience.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to try to hit on all of those.
Okay.
Fun fact, we're in the Jackson Carroll Movie Theater on Eastern Avenue in Columbia, Tuscaloosa. So Jackson
Cool.
Carroll was one of the oldest movie theaters in Cincinnati. So our physical space it's just an awesome space. We renovated, we did a big fat build out, but we maintained a lot of the integrity. So we have original terrazzo floors. There's original brick arches in our space. The original cement from the box office is still there. And then there's the split in between the inside and the outside where the box office was. That is like our waiting area, which is so cool. So I love that. That's makes me so happy. The second thing where you were going to say like a special. Well, I was going to say personally, I'm a hairstylist, I'm a makeup artist. So January is a really slow time. So I was thinking it would be super fun for this call only for people that are viewing. If you haven't been in our salon and you want to have a service with me, I would offer 15% off for the rest of January, booking in January, because it's just a slower time for me. So I have a lot more gaps in my schedule anyway during this time of the year. And the temperature of the pandemic that we're in is a little bit different as well. So I wanted to offer that. And then
thank you. That's very generous. For those of you watching, you got that?
Yeah, for real. And then
thank you.
Also, I hate big teasers, but we are working on some really cool collaborations in the salon. So I would just say stay tuned. Admittedly, I do not post on our salon Instagram as often as I would like, but we've got some things in the work to kind of tune that up. And then my handle, Beauty Maven, I'm on more often. So but I would just say we have, this is easy to say, but I really mean it. We have an amazing group of professionals there. You know, I'm basically an independent contractor within my own business, but I can say hands down, I would go to anybody there for any service that they offer. And I say that fully committed to the truth that like, there's nobody there that I wouldn't highly recommend. So we've just got a great group. And then finally, this is super exciting. I haven't said this anywhere else. So I was like, I'm really excited to talk about this. So I've been a teacher my whole life, literally. Like I taught a hair color for 5+ years, traveled all around that. And I can never choose makeup and hair. But there is this new role. I know, Whitney, you as an attorney, this is kind of exciting. There's this new role within cosmetology that you could never do makeup artistry within a salon unless you had a cosmetology or esthetician license. And that's a lot of training to be a makeup artist within a salon, if you ask me, considering makeup is art. Of course, there's professionalism and sanitation that's involved, but it's not as involved as learning hair color and all the things like that, you know? So Kyla said, yes, exclusive. So I am rolling out this month. I'm so excited. A mentorship, because it's now legal to be a makeup artist within a salon without going to cosmetology school. So
wow,
yeah, it's so cool. So I want to really curate this at first because I'm going to have to work very one-on-one with people, but I've got my first mentee rather, who I'm going to mentor to be legally able to do makeup artistry within a salon. So as a teacher, I'm going to start teaching makeup artists wannabes to have a licensure to do makeup within a salon. And the opportunities there are endless because there's so many opportunities for wedding parties where you wouldn't be on staff at a salon, but when they needed you, you could work every weekend, honestly. So that's so exciting.
That is incredible.
Yes. And I have my first mentor. So if anybody knows any makeup artist wannabes, I'm pretty sure literally they only have to be, 16 years old. So like there could be like a high school senior that I mentored to get their license to do makeup in a salon.
That's amazing.
So cool. Because, you know, with YouTube, every 18-year-old that loves makeup could be amazing because of all the free education, you know,
and they're like really good to begin with. So you're going to get people with strong skills that you're just going to be able to amplify. I mean, that's
I want to
amazing.
teach them how to treat people and talk to people and be professional, and they'll be set. Because within our industry, I think those are top notch, the best things that you need to learn besides the art. The art is the art, but to treat people with respect, to be of service, to know that not the customer's always right, but like they are your livelihood and to
Yes.
treat them as such.
Yes.
You know? So
I love that. I love that. Congratulations. That is
Thank you.
so exciting.
Thank you.
And for anybody watching, please spread the word that this is an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
And it helps our community. It helps people
Yes.
realize that there is this place for them too, if they're interested in this industry, and
Yes.
there's a way to make it happen, and there's access. And I just applaud you for that. And I mean, this work is important.
Absolutely. So excited about that. Yay.
Excellent.
So I would say that. I can share like our location, our website, all of that as well for people to check out. None of that information that I just shared is anywhere. So you're not going to find anywhere to read more about it because it's so very new. But not yet. Yes, it will be. It will be. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. All right. So speaking of, where can people go to find you, purchase from you, set up appointments, follow you, all that jazz?
Yes. So our salon name is CoCo Creative Wellness. That's also our website. So www.cococreativewellness.com. On Instagram, I'm at Beauty Maven. You'll see it at the top left of this screen as well if you click on who Whitney is with right now. Our salon is in Columbia, Tusculum. We're on Eastern Avenue. I always say 3/4 of a mile east of the precinct on Eastern. Yep. And our salon is full service. You can go to the web to see what we have to offer. But you're welcome to send me a message. I can leave my email address here on this page as well. I can put it in the comments. But it's my name, colleenp.herman@gmail.com. So I can put that in the email or in the comments as well. But This has been such a fun chat.
Oh, yeah. This is a great way to kick off the week. And if you need photographic evidence of Colleen's talents,
yes,
she does my hair.
Yeah.
So
I will call out another woman in business that I love. Lucia Herman, I always partner with to do headshots for women. I do tons of hair and makeup for her. And this is a really good idea. I'm going to put it in my little head. We usually do a really awesome Galentine's event where she'll do like one image at a really good price, and I'll do hair and makeup. So I'm going to get on that, even though it's like 3 weeks away. I'm going to call her after this.
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
All right. Be on the lookout for that as well. You heard it right here.
Okay.
Thank you, Colleen. Have a great week. Thanks everybody for joining.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Take care. Bye.